guys, it's Caleb. I celebrated Groundhog's Day, went snowshoeing, and didn't do that much else. And that's just the past week. So, welcome back to episode 3 of the Chillin with Caleb podcast. Hold on, I just got a text, so I need to look at it. And anyway, basically what I'm going to be doing today is, as usual, I'm going to be going over the past week and what I've done. I didn't do that much, but I still have a couple stories, and I am going to be going over some fun stories from vacation. So, let's get things started. I'm just writing something down. I've been texting a couple family members for suggestions on stories that I can tell in this podcast, and I just got one at the last minute, so I needed to write that down. Alright, so first off this week, it was Groundhog's Day this week. That was pretty fun. The holiday where we worship a rat. That was from a movie. I'll get onto it later. And we actually had a 2-hour delay that day, so that was pretty nice. I got to sleep in. And as I've said, I just got into sleeping in last year. I know why you guys like it so much. Sleeping in is fun. And it was nice. And basically, I had a test that day, and I was really hoping we'd get a snow day, but as it kept not snowing throughout the whole day before, I'm like, alright, I gotta study for it. And I ended up doing pretty good on it. And I was really hoping for a snow day, so it was sad when we didn't get one. But, yeah. So, hold on. I'm gonna try turning down the gain on my microphone. I hope that doesn't affect how this video sounds. Alright. I just wanted to make sure it didn't cut out part of the video or something. Nope, doesn't seem like it. Just wanted to make sure my voice didn't sound too loud, because the first episode kind of had some audio issues. Maybe it's just my voice. The second one started to sound definitely better. I thought the audio quality was a lot better in that one. That's all I really have to say on Groundhog's Day. What else? I went snowshoeing in school, and as I said in the second episode, I said I'm going to be doing something called snowshoeing next week. And turns out, this is kind of a big surprise, guys, but snowshoeing is when you use snowshoes. I thought it was like a sport or something, but the gym teacher openly said that it's not really a sport. We just get to exercise, and I walked around the back field of the school. The only thing we were really exercising was how to put them on. And anyway, that was pretty fun. I got to see some nice nature. The one thing is, just like skiing, I did not like the part that I had to wear. The fact that I have to wear glasses and a mask, they do not go well together. I was able to take my mask off because there weren't that many people around me in the spot I was. And I took my glasses off too, because it was blurry, but it was better than everything being all fogged up. And yeah, it kind of helped. I was still really hot under all that stuff. And I had to put the mask back on, so yay. So, anyway, what else? So, I went out to dinner with my family yesterday, and not much was eventful. It was just a nice dinner. My little nephew Lucas was so cute as always. He was like, we gave him these little things called puffies. I don't know what they're made of. They're just these tiny little star-shaped treats that he eats. He likes them a lot, and it's like his favorite snack. So every time my dad would give him one, because he's starting to really be able to bite stuff, he gets this big cheesy smile on his face and turns his head up to look at my dad, and it was like the cutest thing. And yeah, I liked it a lot. And hopefully I'll do a video soon, just showing him, because he's such a cute little baby, and it'll be fun whenever I show him on video. I made this really funny comment that I didn't even realize I was making when I said it, but everyone was laughing at it. I thought it was pretty funny. So, I wanted to order some chicken tenders tossed in barbecue. And my dad is ordering for me. He's just ordering for everybody. And he's like, so I'd like to get some buffalo chicken tenders. And I was trying to be polite to him because I knew he had made a mistake because I wanted barbecue. So I'm like, Dad, is barbecue the same as buffalo? I thought it was so funny looking back. Like, obviously it's not, but I'm like, I just wanted a nice way to word it to him. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And that's all I actually did this week. In terms of what I watched two things that I'll go into. The 5th episode of WandaVision, I loved it. It was such a well-written episode. Furthered the story, probably the most out of all 5 episodes so far. Did some really cool stuff. Had a big twist in the end that I'm not going to say because it would kind of just be sad to spoil. It really was a neat episode, and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not going to get into it, since I know some of the people who listen to this podcast haven't even started WandaVision yet, so I don't want to get into it that much. I also watched the movie Groundhog's Day last weekend, because we knew it was about to be Groundhog Day, so... In case you don't know, it's basically a movie about a weatherman who's going to Punxsutawney to report on the Groundhog's Day, on Punxsutawney Phil and everything. But after there's like a blizzard, he realizes he's living the same day over and over and over again. He does something different each day, keeps trying to break the loop. And it's a really cool, well done movie. Reminds me a lot of 2020, if you ask me. And yeah, I thought it was a really cool movie. The acting was really well done. It was a well-written movie. I enjoyed it a lot, so that's nice. Now, we're only 6 minutes into this, and I've already finished up all the stories relating to the past week. That shows how uneventful life can be. But thankfully, what's not uneventful is summer vacation. Oh wait, it's February right now. Well, we're just gonna pretend we're in the southern hemisphere so this episode can have a good theme relating to the summer. I don't know, I needed something to talk about because I didn't have a theme for this podcast, so I decided vacations. There are a lot of memorable stories. I mainly go on 2 vacations a year. I go on some extra ones, but these are the 2 that are family traditions. We always go to Ocean City, New Jersey in like late July, early August, and right in the beginning of the summer in like late June, we go camping. It's been a couple different places, but we go camping and it's a really nice time. We have a pop-up camper. If you want more info on what it actually looks like, just watch a couple No Strings Attached episodes. I've done some vacation ones there. There's a camping one and 2 beach-related episodes. Oh, I need some water. So, anyway, I have a good amount of stories. Most of these are actually from like the last 2 years, so in case I ever want to do another vacation-related episode, there's a lot I can talk about. I can maybe do multiple of these when it becomes August or July, or I listed them out of order, but I don't care. So, here's the first one. So this one actually wasn't from either of our normal trips. It's right nearby us because we have a pontoon boat and we like to take it out to this lake. And it's really fun. There's an island we go to, a small island. We park our boat there for the day, bring our lunches, eat it there, go do some swimming. It's a really fun place. And on some days of the week, there's actually these people who bring a boat out there to sell food. They have a grill on there, a cooler. It's so nice. They didn't have it this time in the story that I'm going to be telling you guys. But I thought, yeah, it was fun. Sometimes I've just went around the entire island hoping the food boat is there. I'm like, could it be there? Nah, they said it'd be open on Saturdays on their website. Those liars! Just kidding, no offense. Anyway, so one time I brought my friend Jonah with us, and it was like one of the only times I've brought a friend, and basically the actual trip was fun. We enjoyed our time on the lake. It was nice. I use the word nice a lot. Anyway, on our way back, this is where things started going insane, because I don't think my dad realized he wasn't driving fast enough, and because of that, there were these wild waves on the lake, I think. And the water was insane. It kept going. We'd jump up and down and water would fly into the boat. And I think it was either me or my mom or Jonah, one of us dropped our shoes. We had to walk over the boat to get the shoes from the other side because it was all going crazy. It was floating around and it was like we were on the ocean. I don't ever want to take our boat out on the ocean. There are some big waves there. Like, I remember this joke my dad used to do with me and all my other siblings when we were little kids, and he'd always just go like, there's no waves today. They turned off the switch. Like it was a wave pool or something. And all of a sudden, we'd always be like, Dad, no, there's a wave right behind you. There's no waves to whoa. That kind of thing. I feel like I'm being loud again. I gotta turn down this mic quality. How about that? Is that better? I think it's just from the way I'm telling these stories. I want to sound louder in them. Anyway, so what else? That was one I completely just remembered on the spot with my dad in front of the waves. That was just a funny little childhood joke. But yeah, it was crazy when we were on the boat, and it was definitely a very interesting first experience of going with us on the boat for my friend. And it was a crazy trip, and that was always a memory I'll remember. There are a lot of good childhood memories like that. They're just fun to look back at. That was one of my favorites, just because of how insane it was, how wild it was. So, what else? Here's one I actually don't remember that well, but it's apparently something that happened. So basically, it was the last day of us going camping. This was so far back that I was still riding on a little seat my dad placed behind his bike, because I didn't know how to ride my bike yet. It took me a while to learn for some reason, but I was like probably 3 or 4. This is, I'm guessing, 2011, 2010. And we decided to go on a family bike ride for our last day camping. And my sister Sarah, she thought, well, Sarah is not the most coordinated when riding a bike, so I've heard. I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen her ride a bike since. Probably a good thing. But basically, she apparently, I don't know the full story since I was super little and didn't really experience that much, but apparently she knocked me and my dad over. Apparently she almost killed us because she was not that good on a bike. Poor Sarah. Poor us. So, yeah, that's that. That was definitely an interesting time. And I wish I could remember it more, since that would be such a funny thing to remember. And what else? So, here's a story straight from 2020. Last year, there was a big hurricane at Ocean City, which is where we go for the beach, if you have an attention span shorter than 6 minutes. And basically, it was huge. My dad was out on the boardwalk checking it out. Not really on the boardwalk, but like alongside of it. And I was with him, and it was insane because the wind was crazy, the rain was crazy. We had to like hide under a building at the edge when we were under the roof. It wouldn't get us, and we had to keep doing that. Then we'd make like a mad dash down to the next building that we could hide under the roof of. And they were all closed. We had to hide out under like the little canopy above it. And it was crazy. Then we went out there later, and basically, here's the problem. The rain, I think I was wearing not the longest pants, maybe I was wearing shorts, and the rain, it was like, because of the hurricane, sand was getting blown all around us. And like, when it hit your legs or any bare part of your body, it hurt. It was like pressing in. It was like pelting us. It was awful. It was a crazy experience. We went out there later, and it was actually really neat. Like, when we were out there for the first time, the beach was barely a beach. The water had gone all the way up to the front. Stuff had been knocked over, like the lifeguard chairs. It was so insane. I'm saying insane a lot as well. I have a limited vocabulary, I guess. And basically, we were just we went back later when there wasn't a hurricane. And it was crazy. I still remember it, which isn't that hard, so it was less than half a year ago. So, probably barely less. Wait, September, October, November. Yeah, it's been like just under 6 months. Maybe 6 months and 2 days. That's what I'm pretty sure. It was August 4th, I believe. it was still a really memorable experience. And we have a framed photo not a framed photo, it was like a canvas that my brother Josh got my parents for Christmas. And it was like a big picture of the beach. No one was on there, partially because of the pandemic, so not as many people are usually on there, and because it was right in the aftermath of a hurricane. So it was like the beach was completely empty. You could see so much of the boardwalk and everything. It was such a pretty picture. I like it. It's a nice picture we have up on our wall. I'll put it in a video sometime. How about that? And it's like when you normally take a picture of the beach, you don't remember what day it was. Unless it's a digital photo and it says this picture was took August 17th, 2016. Something like that. And basically, it showed that picture we'll always remember. That was the day of the hurricane in 2020. So that's kind of a fun thing to think about. There was another time in 2020 where me and my dad were at the water park filming some scenes for No Strings Attached Back to the Beach. And all of a sudden, my dad gets a call from the guy who owns our condo. So picture this. Our condo was basically two single-story houses placed on top of each other with two staircases to link them. So you can go to each of them. The top floor was the one we were in, owned by this one guy, and the bottom floor was one a complete separate family was in, owned by another guy. Well, there were 3 floors. One of them was 2 garages. But the top floor was us. The floor below it was the other family. And they were being crazy. Like, there were obviously some kids running around there. And, like, of course, Lucas was, like, 4 months old. So we were trying to make sure that he didn't wake up. And I think he did at some point because the people below us were being so loud. And all of a sudden, when we're at the water park, my dad gets a call from the guy who owns our half of the condo. And basically, we had been reported for throwing a wild party and wrecking the shower room. For context, there's showers in each of the floors, and then on the bottom floor of the garages, there's a tiny shower, and one person can go. Yeah, normally one person goes in the shower, but I mean, there's a little shower that either of the families in the place can use, as long as it's not occupied. And basically, so we're getting a call that said we wrecked the shower, and we threw a wild party. Literally, the most we did was play spoons. And we were like, it was, apparently. So we go down later, we're all so angry, because basically, what we were pretty sure had happened was the family below us, because they were the only other ones in the condo, had blamed us for something we didn't do for some reason or another. So my dad, while we were leaving to go to some of our cousin's place, because we normally do dinner at one of our family members' places. A ton of our family goes to Ocean City during that week. But since that other family was out on their porch, my dad actually confronted them, saying, like, hey, can you please stop? Why did you report us? We didn't do anything. Like, it was just a big family, multiple generations. There were, like, some little kids, then their parents, and then one of the parents' parents. And so the grandmother of that family is all like, well, were you on your best behavior? How are we supposed to answer to that? Yes, Sarah's been enforcing us to be quiet around the baby all week. Yes, we were on our best behavior. And so the grandma left that really weird, snarky comment. And then of course, it was apparently a misunderstanding. Either they or another family in a separate condo had called the wrong person or something. They were reporting a complete separate party in a complete separate place on that street. So of course we got ratted out for something we didn't even do. And that was it was annoying. We were all super mad. So I'm just checking off my list here. I still have a few more stories to tell. Okay, I apparently paused the recording, but now we're going, so that's good. And anyway, thankfully I didn't miss anything. I immediately realized I paused the recording, because in the first episode, I didn't realize that I hadn't been recording for 3 minutes. So anyway, one time, it was when we were camping, and so let me look back at the picture, because I'm trying to remember the full thing. And basically, I had rode up to the little spigot. There was a little spigot of water at the top of the hill near our campsite, it was like a little water fountain. And basically, I had somehow caused the thing to break, because I'm trying to remember, there was like a leak or something, a tiny little dripping thing, and I was trying to fix it. I was trying to turn on the faucet, and all of a sudden, the top blew up like a geyser or something. So there's water flowing all over me. And then I had basically broke the spigot, and my entire shirt was covered in water. That's the picture I'm looking at. I'll have to put it in the thumbnail or something. So that was a memorable experience. I broke the spigot at camp. So there are only 2 more stories I gotta tell you guys. Nice, the podcast is gonna be a bit shorter this time. So there was one time, this was still in 2020. That last story was 2018, I believe. We're driving home from Ocean City, and here's actually a horrible thing that happened, but it was also a miracle. So, my dad's bike had been through a lot. Remember? There was the time where Sarah almost killed us. And so we have all the bikes and all the packages, like the luggage and everything, tied up in the back of the truck, all the stuff that we couldn't fit in the actual truck. And then, all of a sudden, my dad's bike flew out the back of it. It wasn't attached well enough or something, and it thankfully, thank goodness it didn't hit anybody, but it bounced off the road and onto the side of the road. So, basically, the bike just flew off. It's crazy. And that was a memorable experience. Since, we haven't had the bike since. And we never went back to get it or anything, which is probably smart, since it would probably be really damaged. People would probably hate us for our bike almost killing people. I don't think it didn't hit any cars or anything, which is such a relief, because we would have probably been criminals or something. And so there was one other story I actually just remembered, and it's not as much of a crazy story, but it's just a nice little thing. I feel like every year before Ocean City, I have the worst luck when it comes to my sleep schedule. Because with Ocean City, we need to leave really early. It's like a 7-hour car ride, and to make sure we don't hit the traffic, we gotta leave at 3 o'clock. And I normally am able to go back to sleep in the car sometimes, but basically I never sleep well before that. I always go to bed pretty early, around 7 or 8, and I'm thinking so much about it that I can never actually fall asleep. And of course, out of all times that it has to happen, it happens when I have to get up at 3 in the morning. So, that was not fun. But then in 2020, I actually slept pretty well. That's one good thing to come out of 2020. So is Lucas. But anyway, I feel kind of tired. I don't know how well I slept last night. I slept a good 8 hours, I believe. Weird. So, here's the last story I have to tell, and it's probably my favorite. There was a Daily Caleb video about this, but who saw Daily Caleb Season 6? I don't know that many people. Anyway, so, this was another tale from 2020. 2020 was a crazy year, but at least I have a lot of podcast stories I can tell relating to it. So, we were filming No Strings Attached at amusement park called Castaway Cove, and thinking about that's sad, because there was a huge fire there the other week, and it's sad to think about. It's like an awesome amusement park. It's the one where a lot of the Back to the Beach episode was filmed. So, basically, we were going there. We had carried Tommy in my backpack, the Tommy puppet, and me and my dad were filming with a puppet on the amusement park. It's funny to think about if you really consider it. We were using the puppet at the amusement park to ride bumper cars and stuff. So while we're going on the bumper cars, we have to leave my backpack outside, and leaving it outside the bumper cars. And we didn't really remember that we had put it there, because when we come out, we just walked along carrying Tommy in our hands instead of the backpack. And we had forgotten the backpack there. So the next day, I'm realizing, oh no, I forgot my backpack. So my mom tells me to just go back down to the beach and get it. And I do, but not back to the beach. I'm thinking of the episode title. Back to the amusement park and get it. So I'm filming a whole video where I'm walking down the boardwalk during the day to go get it. During the day. So the amusement park was closed. It opens at night. So I went halfway down the boardwalk for nothing. And so then me and my dad and my brother Josh, this was on the very last day of our trip. So we're rushing down there to get my backpack. And basically, we didn't know where it was. We were asking a guy who was still there. We knew there was about to be a storm coming, so we had to hurry. And the entire place was closed because there was going to be a huge rainstorm. So we were walking through like an abandoned amusement park, basically. It wasn't abandoned, but that made it sound cooler. So basically, so here's another funny part of the story that helps emphasize it. My mom labels everything. On all of my school supplies, she takes all these little Caleb McGrath labels and places them on everything. I'm pulling out my colored pencils right here on my table. It says Caleb McGrath. The box of colored pencils. So, basically, she labeled even the tiniest things. She took my iPod Touch, which also had a case, which I put on there most of the time, because she had used a Sharpie to write my name on the back of my iPod Touch. She really wants to make sure I don't lose my stuff. It came off in time, partially because it had a case, which helped wipe it off. Oh, thank goodness for cases. And basically, so that's just setting up the story, and thankfully, we realized, we were like, was it an LL Bean backpack? That's what the guy said, and we're like, yeah, it was. I think it was LL Bean. Did it have a name written on it? I think I've seen one. And I didn't know what he meant. I'm like, no, it didn't have a name written on it. It was just a green and orange LL Bean backpack. Because I was thinking, like, you ever see one of those backpacks where they etch your name into it in, like, yarn or something, string? They sew your name onto the backpack, and I never did that. And so I thought that was what he meant, and I'm like, nope. But we walk over there anyway, and what do you know it? It's still sitting on the garbage can next to the bumper cars where we had left it 24 hours ago, because my mom had written my name in Sharpie on it. So that was a crazy story, and it's not even over. So we're leaving the amusement park and running back, and then we realized the rainstorm started. So we're running back with all the rain flying at us, and it was awful. Apparently we didn't realize on our way back from the amusement park the first day, or like the second to last day, but the first day of the story, that we were carrying Tommy with our hands. We didn't realize that until we got back. And by the time we got back, the place had probably closed, so. But anyway, we're back to the present day of the story. So we're running back, and we're like, let's stop in this little store here, get some stuff for our family. Because it was my brother-in-law's birthday that week. So we used it as a convenient excuse to stop and get out of the rain. So we got a shirt, I think. And then we ran back, and we had to keep, just like with the hurricane, we had to keep going under the canopies and stopping so we could catch our breath. And then we had to keep running. I have a video of it somewhere if you want to check it out. It was probably the last Ocean City vlog, or the second to last of 2020 Daily Caleb. So that was definitely a really wacky, crazy set of tales that I've had to tell you. I think that's all the ones I have. And I had a good week. It was Groundhog's Day and everything. So, yeah. I think that's all the stories I have to tell you. I'll end it with one last one to get you thinking. So, one time, me and my brother Josh were sitting on the boat at the same island that me and Jonah had gone to and experienced some crazy waves at. And we're sitting on the boat, and we're about to walk down onto the beach. And Josh says, "Wow, Caleb, your feet are getting pretty big." And I tell him, "Well, I'm growing up, Josh. And they're growing with me." But of course, he interpreted it as one of my favorite quotes ever that I inadvertently said because of a misunderstanding. I'm growing up, Josh. Grow with me. Caleb out.